The passive aggression reset. Welcome. This soft reset is for the version of you who learned to keep the peace by keeping parts of yourself quiet. The version of you who knows what's true, but edits it before it leaves your mouth. Who feels first, then hesitates. Who waits, softens, delays, and calls it being mature. You are not here because something is wrong with you. You are here because you adapted. At some point, honesty did not feel safe. It cost you connection, approval, or belonging. So your body learned another way. It learned how to delay truth, how to stay agreeable, how to swallow what you felt and kept moving. But what your mouth did not say, your body remembered. This reset is not about becoming confrontational. It's not about saying everything you feel. And it's not about forcing your voice. It is about integration. Over the next 9 days, we will gently repair the split between what you feel, what you know, and what you say. We will teach your nervous system that clarity can exist without danger. That honesty does not have to arrive as rage. And that peace does not require self-abandonment. This work is slow on purpose. It is embodied, it is practical, and it is deeply adult. Take what lands, pause when you need to. Let this be a conversation with yourself that you no longer avoid. You are not here to become louder. You are here to become whole. Day 1. Recognizing the pattern without shame. Before anything changes, we tell the truth about what is already happening. Passive aggression rarely announces itself loudly. It moves quietly. It hides in politeness, delay, and restraint. Here's a moment you might recognize. You read the message. Your chest tightens just a little. You start typing, then pause. You tell yourself you'll respond later when you're calmer, clearer, less emotional. But later doesn't bring relief. It brings pressure. This is the pattern we're naming today. Not to judge it, not to correct it, but to see it clearly. Passive aggression is not aggression in the way we usually think of it. It is the slow leaking of truth when it doesn't feel safe to speak directly. Today is about recognition without shame. Because you cannot heal what you are still explaining away. Place one hand on your chest and one on your belly. Slow inhale through your nose. Long exhale through the mouth. Do this twice. Let your body arrive before your mind tries to understand. Now reflect. Where do you notice yourself withholding instead of speaking? Where do you soften your truth so much that it disappears? Where do you say, "It's fine," while something inside you quietly disagrees? This is not about labeling yourself. It is about identifying a strategy your body reaches automatically. A strategy that once protected you. Ask yourself, where in my life do I avoid direct communication, and what do I believe would happen if I were fully honest in those moments? As you write, notice if fear shows up. Fear of conflict, fear of being misunderstood, fear of being seen differently. That fear matters. Today, your only task is awareness. When you feel the urge to delay, soften, or avoid, pause. Notice the exact moment your body pulls back. Do not force yourself to speak. Do not correct the behavior. Just notice. That moment is the doorway we will walk throughout this reset. There is nothing wrong with you for having this pattern. It formed for a reason. Awareness is not passive. It is the first act of self-respect. Tomorrow, we will explore why your body learned that silence felt safer than honesty and began loosening the grip of that old protection. For now, rest. You are not behind. You are beginning. Day 2. Why your body learned silence. You did not wake up one day and decide to hide your truth. Your body learned this pattern long before your adult mind had language for it. At some point, being honest did not lead to relief. It led to tension, distance, conflict, being misunderstood, or being told you were too much. So your nervous system made a quiet decision. It learned that silence preserved connection, that softening kept you included, that minimizing yourself was safer than risking rupture. This is not weakness. This is intelligence under pressure. Today is about honoring the origin of the pattern without staying loyal to it. Inhale gently through the nose. Exhale slowly through the mouth. Let your shoulders drop as if they no longer need to hold anything up. Now reflect. When you imagine saying exactly what you feel, what happens inside your body? Not what you think, what you feel. Does your throat tighten? Does your chest constrict? Does your breath shorten? That reaction is not immaturity. It is memory. Your body is responding to an earlier time when honesty came with consequences. Ask yourself, when did I first learn that being honest could cost me safety, approval, or connection? You may remember a specific moment, or you may notice a pattern. Being shut down, being corrected, being told to calm down, being ignored. All of it counts. Today, when you notice yourself avoiding or softening the truth, try this instead of self-correction. Silently say to yourself, this once kept me safe. Not as an excuse, as an acknowledgement. You cannot release a strategy you are still shaming yourself for needing. You adapted for a reason, and that reason deserves respect. Tomorrow, we will begin teaching your body something new, that honesty can exist alongside safety now. For today, let compassion settle where judgment used to live. You are not broken. You learned. Day 3, teaching the body that honesty is safe. By now, you may be noticing something important. You don't avoid honesty because you don't know what to say. You avoid it because your body tightens before the words arrive. This is where change actually happens. Passive aggression lives in the body, not the intellect. So today, we work with regulation, not explanation. Today is about staying present at the exact moment your truth wants to retreat. Inhale slowly through your nose. Pause for a brief moment at the top. Exhale longer than you inhale through the mouth. Let your nervous system feel that slowing is possible. Now bring to mind a small truth, not the hardest one, something minor you've been minimizing or postponing. As you imagine saying it, notice what happens in your body. The subtle tightening, the urge to soften, the impulse to wait. That exact moment is the doorway. Instead of pushing past it or pulling away, stay. Let your breath move through the sensation. Say silently to yourself, I can be honest and stay regulated. This is how safety is relearned. Ask yourself, what truth feels small but heavy because I keep carrying it quietly? As you write, notice if the weight isn't in the truth itself, but in the effort of holding it. Here's what I want you to do. Choose one low-risk moment today to practice clarity. State your truth once. Use simple language, then stop talking. No over-explaining, no softening afterward. Notice what happens in your body after. Not what happens in the relationship, what happens inside you. You are building capacity, not forcing change. Each time you stay present instead of retreating, your body learns something new. Tomorrow, we will look at what silence has been costing you and why this work matters more than comfort. Rest tonight, knowing your body is learning, even if it feels subtle. Day 4, the cost of silence. Up until now, we've talked about why the pattern formed and how it lives in the body. Today, we name something important. Passive aggression is not neutral. It may feel like the softest option in the moment, but over time, it quietly takes things from you. Think about what happens when you don't say what's true. You move on outwardly, but inwardly, something stays unresolved. A small resentment forms. A subtle distance appears. A quiet mistrust begins to grow. Not always towards others, often towards yourself. Every time you choose silence instead of clarity, you teach yourself that your truth is inconvenient. That lesson does not stay contained. Slow inhale through your nose. Slow exhale through your mouth. Let your body settle before going further. Now listen closely. Silence does not just protect you from discomfort. It also prevents you from being fully known. And what cannot be known cannot be fully trusted. Ask yourself, what has my silence quietly cost me in my relationships, my leadership, or my sense of self-trust? Let this be honest, not dramatic. Loss of closeness, loss of respect, loss of internal alignment. All of it matters. Here's what I want you to do. Name one moment in your past where clarity would have protected you better than silence. Not to regret it, to learn from it. Ask yourself, what would I do differently now? The cost of silence is not always immediate, but it is cumulative. Tomorrow, we will talk about what happens when unspoken truth turns into pressure and why waiting too long can become dangerous. You are not here to shame yourself. You are here to choose differently. Day 5, the boiling point. Passive aggression does not remove anger. It postpones it. Each time you swallow what bothered you, your body keeps track. Not with words, with sensation. A tight jaw you don't notice anymore. A heaviness in your chest that feels familiar. A low-level irritation that hums in the background. You may tell yourself you've moved on. You may even believe it. But anger that is not expressed cleanly does not disappear. It compresses until one day, something small happens. A tone, a comment, a forgotten task. And suddenly, your reaction feels bigger than that moment. This is not because you are volatile. It is because you are accumulated. This is how people end up surprising themselves. Not because they are angry people, but because they have been quiet people for too long. Inhale slowly through the nose. Exhale longer than you inhale through the mouth. Do this twice. Let your body feel the relief of releasing even a little pressure. Now reflect. Think of a time you overreacted, not slightly, noticeably. If you look honestly, was it really about that moment, or was it about everything that had been building beneath it? This is not about blaming yourself. It is about understanding the mechanics. Anger that is expressed early becomes information. Anger that is stored becomes force. Ask yourself, what truth have I been minimizing that later came out louder or harsher than I intended? As you write, notice where in your body that anger lives. Your body has been holding it for you. Today, practice interrupting the pressure earlier. When discomfort first appears, name it simply. You do not need a speech. You do not need intensity. Even saying, that didn't sit right with me, or I don't want to carry this quietly, releases pressure. That is not confrontation. That is prevention. You are not explosive. You are accumulated. Tomorrow, we will work with the guilt and fear that often show up after honesty and learn how to stay grounded instead of retreating. For tonight, let your body rest. Pressure is already beginning to ease. Day 6, releasing the guilt that follows honesty. After you say what's true, something often rushes in. Guilt. Not because you were unkind, not because you were wrong, but because your body is not used to this level of self-loyalty. You may replay the moment in your head. Did I say too much? Was my tone off? Should I have waited? This questioning is familiar because you learned early that harmony mattered more than honesty. So when you choose clarity, your nervous system scans for danger. This is not a sign you made a mistake. It is a sign you did something new. Inhale calmly through the nose. Exhale slowly through the mouth. Let your body feel the ground beneath you. Now reflect. Notice how quickly you feel responsible for other people's emotional comfort. Notice the urge to explain, soften, or take your words back. That urge is old. Ask yourself, when guilt shows up after I speak honestly, whose comfort am I trying to protect more than my own? As you write, see if a familiar role appears. The peacemaker, the fixer, the one who keeps things smooth. You no longer have to abandon yourself to play that role. Here's what I want you to do. When guilt arises today, resist the urge to fix it. Do not send a follow-up message. Do not add context. Do not apologize for clarity. Instead, place a hand on your body and say silently, I am allowed to be clear. Let the feeling move through you without obeying it. Guilt does not mean you caused harm. Often, it means you broke an old agreement with silence. Tomorrow, we will talk about earned directness and how to speak with both honesty and maturity. You are learning how to stay with yourself. That matters more than immediate comfort. Day 7, earned directness. Directness is not saying everything you feel in the moment. That is not honesty. That is discharge. True directness comes from processing first, then speaking. When truth is unprocessed, it can land as sharp. When truth is avoided, it turns into resentment. Maturity lives between those two extremes. This is what earned directness looks like. You feel something, you pause, you regulate, You choose your words, not to protect others from discomfort, but to protect the relationship from unnecessary harm. Inhale fully through the nose. Exhale softly through the mouth. Let your body remember that you can pause without disappearing. Now reflect. You do not owe everyone access to your raw emotion. You do owe yourself integrity. Earned directness is truth that has been metabolized. Ask yourself, what truth do I need to sit with before I speak it cleanly? As you write, notice the difference between urgency and clarity. Urgency wants immediate relief. Clarity wants long-term alignment. Here's what I want you to do. Today, practice waiting until your body is calm before speaking one honest sentence. Not delaying indefinitely, just long enough to choose words that match your values. Then say it once and let it stand. Restraint is not suppression. It's leadership. Tomorrow, we will look at what this kind of clarity builds over time and why it changes the quality of your relationships. You are learning how to speak without abandoning yourself or others. Day 8. What clarity builds over time. By now, something may feel different. Not dramatic, not loud. Quieter than that. When you speak earlier, your body holds less tension. When you are clearer, resentment has less room to grow. When you stop performing peace, you begin to feel it. This is what clarity builds over time. Not perfection, stability. Passive aggression protects short-term comfort. Directness builds long-term safety. When you are consistently clear, people learn how to be with you. They know where you stand. They know what you need. They stop guessing. And your nervous system responds to that consistency. It settles. Slow inhale through the nose. Long exhale through the mouth. Let your body register the difference between tension and steadiness. Now reflect. Think about relationships where honesty is allowed, where you do not have to rehearse, where you do not have to brace. Notice how your body feels in those spaces. That ease is not accidental. It is the result of clarity being practiced over time. Ask yourself, what kind of relationships am I building when I choose clarity over comfort? As you write, notice whether the answer includes words like trust, calm, respect, or safety. Those are the markers of integration. Here's what I want you to do. Today, acknowledge one relationship that feels easier because honesty exists. You do not need to fix anything. Just notice what works when truth is allowed to move freely. Let that be evidence. Clarity is not personality shift. It is self-trust being restored. Tomorrow, we will integrate everything and anchor this work into who you are becoming. You are closer than you think. Day 9. Integration and identity. This work was never about becoming louder. It was about becoming whole. Passive aggression fades when you stop leaving yourself early. When you no longer abandon your truth to keep the moment comfortable. When you trust yourself enough to speak before resentment builds. Integration means this. What you feel, what you know, and what you say begin to align. That alignment changes how you move through the world. You no longer wait until anger forces honesty. You choose clarity while choice is still available. This is emotional adulthood. Inhale deeply through the nose. Exhale slowly through the mouth. Let your body feel the steadiness of that choice. Now reflect. Notice how your relationship to truth has shifted. Not perfectly, but intentionally. You are no longer reacting only when pressure demands it. You are noticing earlier, speaking sooner, trusting yourself more. That is not small. Ask yourself, who am I becoming when I consistently choose truth over silence? As you write, listen for identity language. Someone who notices discomfort early. Someone whose body trusts them. Someone who does not live divided. Let those words land. Here's what I want you to do. Write one clear commitment to yourself around communication. Keep it simple. Keep it honest. Something like, I will name discomfort before it turns into resentment. Or, I will not wait until anger forces my honesty. This is not a rule. It is a relationship with yourself. This reset does not end here. There will be moments when silence feels easier again, when old habits whisper that it's safer to wait. When that happens, return to the breath. Return to the moment you first noticed discomfort. Return to clarity. You are someone who chooses truth before resentment and honesty before silence. That is who you are becoming. You did not complete this reset by becoming someone new. You completed it by returning to yourself. You learned to notice discomfort earlier, to listen before pressure built, to speak before anger had to take over. That is not just communication skill. That is self-trust being restored. Directness is not about control. It's about alignment. When what you feel, what you know, and what you say begin to match, your nervous system settles. Your relationships stabilize. Your leadership strengthens. This does not mean you will never hesitate again. It means you now recognize the moment hesitation appears and you know what it's asking for. Clarity, presence, choice. Say this quietly to yourself. I do not wait until anger forces my honesty. I choose clarity while choice is still available. I am someone my body can trust. This reset opened a door. There are deeper layers of repair, trust, and leadership that build from here. And when you're ready to go further, you will already recognize the path. Until then, return to the breath. Return to the moment you first feel the pull to disappear. Return to truth. You are safe to be clear now.